What is up, guys? This is Zach from Angler's Escape, and in front of me I have 5 excellent bluegill baits. I want to make this video short and sweet for you guys and just show some baits that work excellent for bluegill. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1, which is my favorite bluegill bait, and that's night crawlers. And as you can see, I have 3 boxes here because I always have them on hand. Every fish species around here in the Midwest will eat night crawlers. Catfish will eat them, carp will eat them, the bluegill, the panfish, a walleye will take them. So I always use night crawlers, and the nice thing about night crawlers is usually for bluegill, you can cut one up into 10 pieces. For bluegill, you're only going to be using itty-bitty pieces. If you use too big of a piece, the bluegill are just going to steal it, and you'll get just as many bites with a small piece, and they won't steal it as much. So night crawler is definitely number 1. That's like one of the main natural baits for them. Number 2 is actually surprising, and it works really well, and that's just canned sweet corn, or any canned corn for that matter. It stays on the hook really well. And even though it's not like a meat like the worms or crickets, you'd be surprised how quick these bluegill will go after it. And I'll show you some clips of me catching them just left and right on corn. So corn's a great bait. It lasts a long time and it's super cheap. Number 3 is bread. Bread, I get just as many bites as the corn. The problem with bread is it doesn't stay on the hook quite as well, so I don't like it quite as much. But any type of bread works. So here's bagels, here's hot dog buns. If you have any sort of type of bread that's going bad at your house, just grab some and it will work. But just be aware that it's going to dissolve off the hook a lot faster than something like corn and worms that'll stay on the hook really well. And so number 4 is crickets. Crickets are another natural food source for bluegill like worms, so they work well. The problem with crickets though is it's hard to catch, it's time consuming, and the other thing is when they're jumping around everywhere they can be hard to hook. So that's one reason they're not up there in the top 3 or top 1 or 2 baits. And so number 5, guys, is waxworms. These work maybe not quite as well as earthworms, but they're really nice because they're so small you don't have to cut them up. So I'll show you one here. You can basically just grab the whole worm and hook them. Some people don't like cutting up earthworms to hook them, but the problem with the waxworms is they're more expensive. So this little container here was like $5, where it's about $3 for one of these nightcrawler containers. This would probably be 180 baits because I have 18 Canadian nightcrawlers. You can see how big they are. You can cut these up into probably 10 to 15 baits per nightcrawler, where this is only 1 per bait. So definitely a lot more baits and a lot more value with the night crawlers. And finally, guys, I want to go over an honorable mention, and that's Slim Jims. A lot of people really like using Slim Jims for bluegill fishing. I've tried it and caught some fish on them, but definitely am not catching them as fast as I do, say, corn and worms. So it's something to consider. It would last forever, and you can always keep it in your car as an emergency backup. And finally, guys, I just want to show you the hooks that I'm using. And they're always really small hooks. If you use too big of hooks, they'll just steal your bait. But this hook box right here I got off Amazon for $5. It had 500 small hooks and perfect for bluegill and panfish. And if you want a more in-depth guide of what hooks and pound test line to use and bobbers, I'll link a video to that. And you want to be using 4-pound test line for all these. But I hope you learned something here today and you'll try out one of these baits. And thanks for watching.